guys, welcome back to T-Bone Southern Ride presents the rocking, shocking October of Motos and Mayhem. As we're going down the road at half the speed we need, I had to run a few errands, so I thought I'd go ahead and shoot this episode and get it in the logbook ready to go. If you watched the last video I put out, welcome to the halfway point of this series, or what I think is going to be the halfway point of this series. If it ain't exactly the halfway point, then I apologize. You're counting and not watching. So, but guys, we have made it to the halfway point. Beautiful autumn weather. If you're new here, I'm T-Bone. Welcome in. Enjoy the Halloween videos with us. Stick around, hang out with us. I make motorcycle comment. If you're old here, you know what's going on. Welcome back. In a couple of videos that I posted before this one, I went ahead and I hinted, guys, that this was going to be a Stephen King movie. Now, there's been some interesting comments, and I am seeing people guessing movies, and of course when you're talking about Stephen King, there's a whole plethora of movies, but I gave a hint in the last video that it was a popular movie, but it probably wasn't going to be the popular movie you thought of. Now, at this point right here, I could have done this video on any Stephen King movie I wanted to. It's 1 and 2, the remakes, the originals with Tim Curry. I could have done Pet Sematary, which has a remake now. I could have done The Stand, which I did a video on The Stand before, but not like this right here. It could have been Needful Things. Guys, there's just a list that's so long. Silver Bullet. I could have done this video on Silver Bullet, which Silver Bullet, when I was a kid, was one of my favorite Stephen King movies. And because I was young when Silver Bullet came out, and I love the movie Silver Bullet still, I still like to go back and watch the movie Silver Bullet. Of course, that's a Corey Haim. That's a Corey Haim movie. Feldman wasn't in Silver Bullet. I'm pretty sure it was just Hames. But a great movie. But I got off the beaten path with this movie just a little bit, because in my talks with horror fans, not necessarily Stephen King fans, and younger fans, I bring up the movie Graveyard Shift. Now, Graveyard Shift came out in 1990, but this is one of the ones kind of like The Stand. I actually read the book to Graveyard Shift before I watched the movie. I was younger when I read it. And of course, contrary to popular belief, T-Bone can read and enjoys reading books. But we're talking today about what I thought was just a great movie that has turned out to be a cult classic. 1990s movie, The Graveyard Shift. Now, if you're a true Stephen King fan, then you know this movie. I still enjoy watching it. I may watch it over the next couple of days. I may try to slip it in and watch it. I've got it on DVD. But this movie, guys, again, like I said, if you're a horror fan, then you're going to dig this movie, because this movie right here, it takes gross and macabre to the absolute limit. Of course, this movie is set in Maine, and it's set in a textile town, and we have a drifter who comes into town basically looking for work. Now, the main antagonist in this movie is a guy named Warwick. I'm not going to say his name because I know I'll get it wrong, but he's got that strong Maine accent, and he talks like this, and he makes everything drawn out. And of course, he's a great antagonist. He's he's another one of those antagonists in the movie that you're waiting the whole movie just to see what kind of mean things happen to him. And Graveyard Shift, in that sense, does not disappoint. Of course, there's a girl named Jane. She's the heroine, and the drifter who comes in. But this movie actually has a very popular horror guy in it. Of course, talking about the great Brad Dourif, whom a lot of you horror fans will recognize the name as the voice of Chucky from Child's Play. I believe every adaptation of Chucky, Brad Dourif has voiced over for Chucky. And of course, he was the original Charles Lee Ray in the original Child's Play movie. He was the original one who used voodoo to transform or to transfer his body or soul over into the doll, Chucky. And of course, Brad Dourif is in this. And the meat and potatoes of Graveyard Shift, guys, like I said, it comes up over a holiday weekend. The textile mill is going to close, and the building inspectors are on our antagonist Warwick about cleaning out his basement and getting his building up to code, because again, we are messing. Graveyard Shift dives into one of Stephen King's favorite pets to play with, which is the rat. So the rats are on display in the movie Graveyard Shift. So if you can't watch a movie with rats in it, Graveyard Shift is not for you, because the rats are on display live and in living color. But our hero ends up volunteering for the extra money to kind of work on the holiday weekend with some other employees working on getting the basement of the mill cleaned out. And of course, they're down there with a fire hose, and they're shooting rats with fire hose. And he's actually got a thing where he flattens out a Coke can, and he has a slingshot, and he hones in his skills of shooting rats with his aluminum cans and his slingshots. But of course, as we get into it, I'm not going to give away the end of it because I really want you guys to check the movie out. But Mr. Warwick ends up getting exactly what you would hope that antagonist would get, because he's everything from a bad boss to a womanizer to a male chauvinist. He's just everything that a good antagonist needs to be. And you know, our drifter does a good job of being the hero in the movie, and the reason I just keep calling him the drifter, because I'm not sure what his name is, and I'm not sure what the name of the actor is who played him. I know I should do more research on this thing, guys, but I'm not good with remembering names. So even if I research it, what I'll end up doing, because I know me, I will end up over researching and I'll burn myself out on it. So I remember the plot of the movie, and that's good enough for me. But yeah, I mean, Stephen King's Graveyard Shift, and you get into a forum where there's a lot of Stephen King fans. Of course, you get it, The Shining, Needful Things. The Stand is always at the top of the list as one of the favorites. One of my favorites is The Stand. Actually, The Stand is my favorite piece of work by Stephen King. But you rarely ever hear about Graveyard Shift, and that's kind of sad, because you know, you got puppeteers in it, the real rats, corny, you know, a corny love story, but it actually is a really good thriller horror movie, especially if you've got a phobia about rats. Now, if you can handle watching a movie with rats in it and you have a phobia about rats, this is the movie for you. You got to get Stephen King's Graveyard Shift and watch it. Now, I'm not sure, because I don't have all of the streaming providers. I've got Netflix, I've got Disney Plus, HBO Max, and I haven't searched for Stephen King movies yet, so I'm not sure if any of them have Stephen King movies. But if you have a favorite provider or a favorite streamer, you know, just type in Stephen King. That's all you got to do. And I need to do that. I need to find out what platforms that have Stephen King's movies. Of course, now I know that It is on HBO Max, and I also think that It is on Netflix. I'm pretty sure Netflix. I haven't looked at their full Halloween list that they put out this month for their October movies, but I'm almost certain that they have It. And I actually sent email to Netflix requesting certain movies. Don't know that I'll get them. Don't know that they have access to them, so I'm not sure that they can get them, but we'll see. I've still got DVDs, guys. If I get interested in talking to you guys about a movie, and if I need to watch it and re-up on it, you can rest assured I've got it on DVD somewhere, probably. I've got a big DVD collection. Me and R1's been collecting DVDs for 20-something years, so we did have a big collection of VHS, but they got destroyed in a move. But I tell you guys, Stephen King, you know, and there's two things. There's two things in a Stephen King movie you can rest assured are going to be there. Whether you begrudge them or not, they're always going to be there. Stephen King is big on crows. Most all of his movies at some point has a crow in it, and most of his movies at some point has rats in it. And then you get a movie like The Stand that gives you the best of both worlds. It has rats and crows in it. But that's just Stephen King, guys. You know, Stephen King, of course, my generation knows all about Stephen King because Stephen King got popular in the 90s with movies being made. Of course, the late 80s and 90s belonged to Stephen King. Silver Bullet, Needful Things, It, The Stand, the original. Now, when it comes to The Stand, I have not watched the remake series that they have done, and I am such a fan of the original the miniseries The Stand, the original one that was done back in the 90s. I am such a fan of that one. I'm almost terrified to watch the remake of The Stand that they're doing now. I'm sorry, Mother Abigail in the original one, we all loved her. She was that motherly, identifiable character. And I'm having a hard time picturing Whoopi Goldberg being Mother Abigail. You know, Whoopi is a great actress. I've enjoyed all of Whoopi's movies. Of course, Sister Act being one of the funniest movies that, you know, comes out. But Mother Abigail and any of the characters, Stu Redman, you know, it's just hard for me to think about recreating those characters. Of course, Fran and, you know, Stu, and I look at these actors because I looked it up online and I saw the remake cast and I saw the roles that they were in, and you know, I'm not going to say I won't ever watch it, because I will watch it eventually, but I'm going into it with lesser expectations because I know how big of a fan of the original Stand I am, the original TV series. So I'm not going into it, and I know that's not really being fair and giving the creators of the new series much of an opportunity, because I'm already going in it with a certain opinion drawn of what it will be. No, I don't think it'll be awful. I just think it'll be different. And of course, every generation needs something different. For the 90s, when The Stand came out, it was what we needed in the 90s. And now, going into the 2020s, the remake's probably what this generation needs, but which is why I think, you know, I was critical. And I've had people tell me, just in conversation, not record content, but talking about horror movies, I am very, 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 very critical of the remake of the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Or Nightmare on Elm Street, sorry. I'm very critical of that remake because of the story. It didn't just suck 99%, but guys, that movie sucked. I mean, let's just be real. When you put the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street up against the original, not only does it fail, it fails out loud. Within the first 10 minutes of the remake, you're like, oh my God, no, that's not Freddy Krueger. This is not my movie. This is not my story. Oh my God, why did you do this? I mean, it turns into a whole nother thing, but you know, I'm not going to be just so critical that I will say I'm never going to watch the remake of The Stand that they did, but it's going to be a minute before I watch it, guys, and it's probably going to be an accident that I watch it, because I'm a big fan of the original. I've watched the original several times, read the book. R1 bought me the book of The Stand, and if you enjoy reading and you're a fan of The Stand, let me go ahead and tell you this. The book is, there is so much stuff missing from in the TV series from the book. The book is excellent because the book actually tells you more than that long miniseries did. So if you're a heavy reader, you like to read, please, I suggest and I will suggest it anytime, any place. Get a copy of The Stand and read it for yourself. I've read it 3 times, and it's a big book, guys. I'm not talking about, this isn't a lightweight reading book. It's a big book, and I've read it three or 4 times. I've read the book. I actually probably need to reread it again. It's probably been about 3 years since I read it the last time, so. But Graveyard Shift, guys, there it is. That was one that the cult fans are going to love. It kind of flew under the radar, a little bit corny in some of the parts of it, but overall it's an excellent movie. And the reason I picked it, because I wanted to give it a little shine and put a little bit of light on it, because really I thought it was a great movie. I thought it had a great story. I thought the actors and actresses in the movie did a great job. And of course, all of the actors in that movie had to be around rats. I don't think that there was any actor in that movie that escaped having to be on screen with rats. Which, my hat's off. You have my full respect just on the merit of that by itself. You had to shoot this entire movie with rats. So you've got my hat's off to you just for that. Not a big fan of rats myself. But there it is, guys. There's the midway point. Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. Now, some of these videos, before I end this one, I have popped up pictures and little nuances. Sometimes I actually forget to do that when I'm editing a video. So don't be too critical and mean that to me on that account. I'm going to try to add some for at least the cover of the movie, and I may not get that done in every video that I edit. If I don't, I'm sorry, but I'm giving you the name. You can Google the name and find the movie. But there it is, guys. Stephen King's Graveyard Shift, the 1990. We were in the midst of a Stephen King run that was coming out of the 80s into the 90s, and I love that movie. Graveyard Shift, guys, check it out. Remember to like, share, comment, and remember, guys, we're going to be getting close to the Halloween episode of T-Bone Southern Ride. 4 movies, 1 director, 1 writer. This guy wrote the movies, 4 movies. The day is going to belong to 1 guy. So who do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be Stephen King, since he got the midway point? Am I going to lay 4 more movies from Stephen King on you? Or maybe it's going to be somebody else. Who's going to own Halloween? Drop down, comment, let me know what you think. Let me know who you think is going to rule the Halloween episode of T-Bone Southern Ride. But remember to follow us on Facebook, guys. Like, share, comment. Go over to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Comment. Give us some thumbs up. Get the algorithm going. Get T-Bone Southern Ride out further to more people. You guys help me out with that, and we'll make this channel grow. And don't forget to hit Instagram, guys, because follow us on Instagram, because that's usually where I drop my first information when I'm getting ready to post a video. I usually hit Instagram first. So T-Bones _Southern _ride. Find us on Instagram. And guys, till the next time, enjoy this beautiful autumn weather where fall's just around the corner. I know everybody's pumpkin spicing, but until the next time, guys, I'm T-Bone, and this has been the Southern Ride.